Alright, what's up everybody? I am Heayman and welcome to the Heayman podcast. This is episode 5 and today I'm going to talk about why the gaming industry is so important to me. And I started playing games around the age of 5 and 6. That's when it started, so around 2005 and 6. So when I was around 5 years old, I grew up playing the Sega Genesis. And I remember the first memory I have of playing a video game was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and that game was like the coolest game ever, even though I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what I was playing, but that for me is so special. And as I continue to grow up, I remember I had a babysitter, and I remember me and him used to play Sonic Adventure 2 together. And this was probably like, I want to say 3 years after I was 5. I met an old best friend of mine, and he pretty much introduced me to the GameCube and everything. And I remember growing up playing Sonic Adventure 2 with him, Mario Sunshine, Smash Bros. I remember one of his best friends had an N64, which was crazy to me at the time. And we played a lot of 64 games on there. And that was pretty fun. And actually, before I met my best friend and we started gaming on the GameCube, I wasn't too much into gaming because of course I was a kid still, but I'd occasionally play my Sega Genesis and everything and go through like a bunch of games like Earthworm Jim, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2. There was a Tetris game I played on there. Strider. What else was there? I had Streets of Rage, Shinobi. Miss Pac-Man. I had a couple of WWE Raw games and some WWF games on there, and like gaming to me was just like so interesting because it just put me in a different world. I had kind of a rough childhood, but like games definitely helped out a lot, and just to go into a world where I can just play these cool characters or have these cool wrestling matches or whatever it might be, go to these cool fantasy worlds. For me, it was pretty special, And as time went on, this would be around, let's see, I want to say 4th grade is when I really started getting into it. So like, that's when I had my 360, but then I already had my GameCube. But on my GameCube, I was just pretty much playing the same thing. My friend got me addicted to Sonic Adventure 2, so I bought it. I got my mom to buy it for me. I remember playing a lot of Spider-Man 2 for the GameCube. A lot of Mario Sunshine. Like, dude, that's hands down my favorite Mario game ever. Besides Odyssey, I don't know. Odyssey's pretty, like, I don't know. Odyssey's pretty close. If I go through Odyssey again, I'm pretty sure, like, my second playthrough of Odyssey is definitely gonna be my favorite. But, I played a lot of stuff on my GameCube before I got my 360. And like that's when I slowly started to build up into my progression of like loving games as a whole, and like super appreciating it. And I remember getting my 360 and like the first game I played on it was like a Pac-Man game. And then it came with like a Sega tennis game where you could play like different Sega mascots, and it was like a cool tennis game. And as time went on, I started getting like the Dead Space games. I had to convince my mom to let me play Gears of War with my dad, so that was a whole challenge in of itself. But I started playing the Gears of War, started playing Mass Effect, and Skyrim on the 360. I didn't have a PS3, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because I didn't think it was that great of a console. But if I did, I would definitely have it for the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 remakes. But that's a different story. But man, the 360 for me was crazy. That's when I really started like loving gaming. Like, I mean, I loved it before, and I didn't know too much history about gaming. Like, as time went on, and at the time it was like I was like 12 years old. I was like just super fascinated with games, and like I would always look up the history of games, and like I'd look at stuff at like the early 80s, look at the all the way up until like the mid 90s. I feel like that was like the golden era of gaming. You had like the Atari, the Sega Genesis, a bunch of cool stuff that came out back then that I wasn't alive for, but I wish I was. just to like go to like cool, like, it seems ancient nowadays, but like these cool arcade stores that our parents grew up with. But um I remember just being so fascinated with it, you know? And it was pretty much like an outlet for me. I would say that gaming was like an outlet to just get away from the real world, you know, sometimes when you're stressed or when you have like a long day or something. So I'd come home from school, boot up my 360. I had a couple of consoles at the time. I had at the time I was 12, I had, I think that's when the Wii U came out. So I think I had a 360, Sega Genesis, PS2. I had two Game Boys. I don't know if I said PSP or not. And as time went on, throughout my early and mid-teens, I would start buying like older consoles, trying out older games, and I just loved like how immersive, you know, each and every game I played was, you know, and I would just love to see how games changed over the course of time, you know, with more iterations from that series, whether it be like, you can see the difference between Mass Effect 1 to 3, you get to see that progression and growth, and like, you know, the Dead Space series. So like there was a lot of cool stuff I enjoyed, and the 360 was really the catalyst for me getting into gaming. And man, I wish I can go back to those days with like Xbox Live and like how you'd have like the point system and everything, and like you'd have like 1,600 points to have Xbox Live or stuff like that, and you can have Xbox Silver. But man, just going back to those days, that was really where it started. I remember playing a lot of indie games too. I played Castle Miner Z, Apox. What else did I play? Murder Miners. Now there's some more indie games I played. There was a cool game where you could play your 360 avatar. I think it was called Doritos Crash Course 2. That was another fun game I played. And like as time went on, I just started loving like different series, and like as I grew, I started liking the Final Fantasy series a lot. And just delving into that. And delving into what's some other series? The Kingdom Hearts series is obviously one of my favorites. Gears of War. The Halo series, you know. The God of War. Just recently, I know I've been going through, what was it? I played Devil May Cry 5, so I've been going back. Cause I mean, I grew up a little bit with Devil May Cry, but not too much. That was another series that I need to go back to and like really enjoy. Another series that I enjoyed a lot was Resident Evil. And like, I used to be too afraid to play those games growing up, but now, you know, of course I love them. I love to play them and speedrun them. But yeah, there was just so many cool games that I'm glad I grew up with, you know? And definitely like, I don't know. Although sometimes I do like complain about how some companies will handle game releases or how the industry is handled as a whole, I definitely do appreciate the good stuff that we do get, you know? I definitely appreciate just the entertainment value that gaming itself brings to me as a consumer, you know, and I wouldn't give it up for anything, you know. I'm a gamer at heart. And as you know, as we get closer and closer to next gen, it makes me just happy to see that like games are still a thing, you know. Games are still coming out. They're still good, they're still bad, but the bad can still be redeemed if the companies really want it to. But I'm just happy to be a part of like, I guess like an era of gaming, and to see like the growth and change in that. I was pretty much born around like the 360. Well, sorry, before that, I was born when the GameCube came out, pretty much, and then from there on out. So it's just cool to see how like the innovation of technologies changed. You know, like I grew up playing a Sega Genesis and a GameCube, and how it translated to the 360. Like games look better, ran on smoother things. You know, and graphics aren't everything to me, but it was just cool to like grow up seeing like these gradual and sometimes even major changes in games. And now we're to a point where we can have photorealism. We can have more than 60 FPS, you know. It's just cool to like, I guess, see that progression, and it makes me just appreciate, you know, that I'm a part of a gaming community, you know. And even in games, you know, like games back in the day were different than they are now, you know. Some would say that games had old games had like a lack of stuff to do compared to new ones, and like you hear all these arguments, but like either way it goes, like games have like, each game that you play, no matter what it is, has so much depth to it, you know? And it's just cool to like go back to, you'd play Mario 64, right? A game that's timeless. And that game holds up to the day, which is crazy to me, you know? A game that came out, I believe 1997, was it? A game that came out on the 64 is still a timeless game and still hold, well, I mean, it doesn't hold up, like, graphically wise, but like when it comes to like nostalgia and you as a consumer, you can go back and every time you play it, it's like the first time you played it, you still feel like a child. And it's, I think that's the cool thing about gaming, is like every time for me personally, every time I play Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and I hear Green Hill Zone theme, or like I boot up Kingdom Hearts 2, it's like that child in me is like, it feels alive again, you know? It's like, man, I remember my first time playing this, and it feels like my first time again, you know? It's just great to like feel that with certain games, you know? And of course, you've seen a lot of new games too come out that are like pretty mind-blowing. Like, you know, you have your Witcher 3, your God of War. Like, there's a lot of cool games nowadays that like completely blew me out of the water, just like games did when I was a kid. I just feel like nowadays, I think what games really need, in my opinion, is I mean, I get the business aspect of the gaming industry, but I feel like having more quality would definitely help a lot for a lot of different games, you know? Especially upon like release and everything. And I know that this current generation with the, well, sorry, I guess you can consider it last gen now, with the Xbox One, the PS4, I felt like compared to the generation before that, I don't know, there was a lot of good that came out of it in terms of games and series continuing and seeing new IPs, new AAA games or new indie games. But at the same time, I feel like at least like the last 3 years of the PS4 and the Xbox One, I feel like we started to see games with actually higher quality than when they came out, you know? And I guess it's just me personally. I don't know, I guess it really started with the PS4 because like towards like the last 3 years of it, we got amazing games, but before that, I felt like all we got was like Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, a couple of good ones. And I don't know, I just didn't feel like this newest generation with the Xbox One and PS4 really blew me away with games. But there's at least like probably like 10 games I can name off the top of my head that like really blew me away. But I guess I expected more, you know? And there's like a lot of letdowns too, which is fine. I mean, you know, sometimes games will come out and it'll be like a complete bomb, but that's alright. But yeah, I mean, the games that like blew me away, Spider-Man PS4 came out in 2018, God of War 2018. What else? Metal Gear Solid 5 was really good. Gears of War Ultimate Edition Remaster, amazing, perfect. Kingdom Hearts 3 was amazing to me. And even like newer games that came out recently, Final Fantasy 7 Remix, like there's a lot of games that recently blew me away, but like through the middle and beginning, there wasn't really too much, you know, at the beginning of the Xbox One and the PS4 through that lifespan. At least not until the end for me. And in terms of like subscriptions, and this is like a newer thing that's happening, I think that when it comes to subscription, Microsoft definitely takes the cake in my opinion, because I think that Xbox Game Pass is completely amazing and it's completely awesome for the consumer. I'll have to look more into PlayStation Now. It's been a while since I bought like any type of PlayStation what's it called, subscription, because all my friends are either on PC or Xbox. But I don't know, I felt like when it came to, I guess maybe I didn't own a PS3 and that's why, but like when it came to the PS4, I felt like it has great exclusives, but like I don't know, like, a subscription really didn't have as much value to me. And I'll have to check out like its free games and all that, but I feel like with the Xbox One and like the like, I don't even know what to call it, the growth of like seeing the Xbox Game Pass just boom, it's amazing, you know? Like now, I think this month we have Doom Eternal coming on it. Like it's a lot of cool games are on the Game Pass, and I think that's like definitely pretty important. And I think that's definitely a good move by Microsoft to give you indie games and AAA games and everything in between for the price of like $9 a month or something, you know? And I think it's cool that you can buy the ultimate version of Xbox Game Pass, so you can play stuff on your PC or your Xbox, and you get tons of games. And I guess I can name off a few. What games do they have? They have the Kingdom Hearts series. I know the Final Fantasy series is being added on there. I know 15's on there. So Final Fantasy 15's on there for anybody that wants to play it. Of course, Doom. They have, what is it called? I want the game come to me, but it's in my head. The Metro series, yeah, the Metro series is on there. Got your Gears of War, you got your Halo Master Chief Collection. So, like, Xbox Game Pass is just really amazing to me. You know, you got Minecraft Dungeons, a bunch of games that, like, people still play to this day, you know? And I think that as we see everybody heading up and going into next gen, I think that the Game Pass for Microsoft will definitely be huge one up for them. I mean, who cares about the console wars anyways, but I think for Microsoft, having a lack of exclusive titles, I think the Game Pass definitely helps out a lot. And I know I'm just excited to see where we go with next gen, you know, with the Xbox Series S and everything like that, and the PS5. I just want to definitely see how the technology is. Can't wait to see the games. You know, we have a lot to look forward to. You know, we have our Miles Morales coming out, our Ratchet and Clank. Like, there's a lot of cool games for the PS5. For Microsoft, we got Halo, Fable. So, like, I just can't wait to see and being part of like another journey. You know, can't wait to be a part of like this next big step for the industry. You know, and either way it goes, I'm definitely gonna get both consoles. I'm gonna shoot for PS5 first since I have a good PC, and I just can't wait to like just dive into another world of fun, you know, and experience that with friends and family, you know. And that's why I just love gaming. It's just very good entertainment. I'm glad that I can make a channel around it. I'm glad that I can make a stream around games, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy it, you know. And to me, this is like something I love, you know. It's a awesome hobby, and like I said, I wouldn't give it up for anything. I'm glad to always just learn about my history on it, for certain games, or the history of the companies that make it, like Nintendo, Square Enix, you know. I'm glad to just, you know, be a small part of something much bigger. And I just can't wait to see where we go past this point, you know. And can't wait to have you guys along. You know, gaming's going to be a huge part of this channel, so I can't wait to just change alongside games, you know. And with the three major companies, with Nintendo Switch and with the Xbox and PS5, I can't wait to just dive in, see some new games, some new graphics, some new ideas, and all that's coming pretty soon, so I'm very excited. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about next gen, and let me know what you guys think about the gaming industry. You know, what does the industry itself mean to you as a consumer, as a fan? You know, let me know what you think about the gaming industry, and I will reply to all comments. But with that said, you guys have a good one. Thanks for listening to my podcast, and I will see you guys in the next one.